Yizzo.
Yizzo. Wait, do it again.
Girl, I was like,
You can do it with me.
where's
Come
she
on.
at?
Because the Riverside wasn't recording yet. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yizzo. Yeah, we gotta harmonize. We gonna find your note.
Oh, I got
Hi.
fine. That's probably true.
That's my note. I've been on that
Professional
note.
singer. So.
Oh. You sound loud. Are your headphones plugged in?
Yes.
Okay. How you doing?
Turned it too loud.
I just turned them down. How we doing? What's crack-a-lackin'?
You know, just waking up every day, taking it day by day, step by step, correcting our wrongs
Isn't that
as we did. Or rather, noticing your wrongs and then trying to be better. Brought to my knees in shame when a listener told us that
it's incredible.
our dumbasses use salmonella rather
Instead
than
of
E.
E. coli.
coli.
That was my fault. I said it.
You should have known that was the butt germ. We out here
And
talking about
apparently eating asses are raw, just like raw chicken. So I stand by what I said.
no.
Salmonella is from raw chicken.
Salmonella is caused by eating raw or undercooked meat, poultry, eggs, or egg products, whereas E. coli lives inside the intestines of healthy people. So if you look at somebody...
so salmonella is also in beef and stuff? I thought it was just a chicken problem.
Apparently it's in undercooked meat as well.
Wow. So you get salmonella poisoning from fish?
Possibly.
Tricky. Somebody hit us back. Somebody smarter than us. Let us know.
But it's definitely...
raw meat, salmonella, E. coli, same thing. I stand by it.
No, we were wrong and embarrassed ourselves. We were dead ass serious too.
But we weren't. Who really took us that serious with that episode? Like, come on. Unpopular opinion. You need to relax.
You know what another unpopular opinion is that I've experienced today? Getting your nails done is not relaxing. I don't enjoy
only
it.
feet. Only feet.
It's not relaxing either.
Oh, feet's really relaxing.
Nah, unpopular opinion is a chore. I can't wait to get the fuck up out of there. But yeah, just doing my thing. I was in the studio fulfilling some orders and I was listening to NPR. And I just want to share with you guys.
Fulfilling some orders for what? If we have new listeners, who knows if they know what
you're talking about. For the Saber Collective, an online boutique curated for women to explore our narratives of joy, beauty, and wellness. We source really beautiful and unique products such as clothing, jewelry, housewares, and wellness products from Black, brown, and women makers. Please check us out at www.thesabercollective.com.
And when you say check us out, do you work there or?
I am the owner of the Saber Collective, to my chagrin, to my delight and chagrin. But I was in there packing orders because gotta do what I gotta do, and I was listening to NPR, and they were sharing this This American Life. It's another podcast that I listen to, and they were talking about how people telling stories about how people help other people for no reason. It's just out of the kindness of their hearts. And he told this story about a man who befriended another man. And into their relationship, the one guy said, listen, I'm dying of cancer. And he said, you're my friend now, and I trust you, and I need you to do me a favor that I can't trust my family to do. So the guy's like, oh, man, heart's all open, feeling generous. He was like, yes. Whatever you need, I got you. So the guy's like, I'm going to die, and I need you to come to my funeral and read a letter to everyone. And the guy's like, of course, sure, I'll do this. And so the guy says, my best friend has been trying to fuck my wife behind my back, and I've been seeing this. And I need you to go and tell everybody, and I need you to confront him for me. And so the guy's like...
He couldn't do that while he was alive?
He was dying, and he wanted everybody to know. He wants to embarrass him. He wants to, make it known. Shame him. Shame. 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 It needs to be public or else it don't slap the same. So the guy was like, fuck, I did not sign up for this shit, but I will do it. So the guy dies. He goes to his funeral. And of course, the best friend stands up. He's blubbering, crying, carrying on. And he says, I'm going to let you finish, but I have a letter that I need to read here. And so he opens the letter and reads it. And basically, the guy's like, fuck you. And the clique you claim, like, how dare you? I know you're trying to fuck my wife. Get the fuck out of here. And so the guy is shamed and he leaves the funeral. And then he continues to say, and to my brother and his wife and his daughter, you haven't been around either, so you can get the fuck out too. And so they end up leaving the funeral. And the guy, it gets around that this is what he does. And so now he's paid to be a funeral interrupter. And I love humans.
Oh,
I think it's amazing. God. I love that people are doing this. And he's like Scottish, so he like has an accent. So he's like, yeah, mate, look, I'll do it. Like, it's like from a movie. It's like from a feel good.
They need to make a movie about this.
And I just love humans. And you guys should listen to it because it's really good.
What's the episode called?
Girl, I don't know. This American Life. It's the most recent one. I'm also come to terms with the fact that I am getting older, and like in the mother-daughter dynamic, it's inevitable that the daughter as the daughter blooms, the mother begins to shrink and change. And I'm going to do a photo shoot with JoJo for Mother's Day. I'm hoping to. And I was like, this little girl's going to eat me up.
You just got to, don't let her have her hair out. Don't let her have her hair out. You got to sabotage
me up. And wait till she just becomes an older woman. And I was like, all right, here we go. Like, let me get myself together so people think we sisters. But yeah, I'm preparing for that. And my neighbors are yelling and fighting in the street. They are just...
That same couple? That's not love, y'all.
Listen, and I wanted to know the other neighbor. Because they will fight. The cops came, child.
Oh, my God.
And then the next day, I see them coming and bringing in groceries. And the one neighbor who's invited the other lover to live in there, but she's like the original OG tenant, she like won't make eye contact with me. Her head is all down. I'm like, tis, girl, you in a toxic relationship. I should just walk by and be like, oh, toxic, when she walks by.
No, you should say, do you need help?
No, because she be in the mess too. They be in the mess. It's wild.
Tricky.
And JoJo don't care not a bit. They right on JoJo. JoJo be drawn like, it keeps me company.
Oh my God.
How are you?
I've been better. I got my ass kicked today at work. So I'm like, I walked. You ever like, I thought I was getting ahead of so many things last night. I was up late doing timelines. And then every single meeting I was in, I was just blindsided with another monkey wrench in the operation. And then I'm delivering bad news to people when it comes to timelines and how everything's expedited. And the timelines that I'm giving them are absolutely ridiculous. They're not reasonable. But we have hard deadlines and there's no way around it.
You're like, this needs to be done tomorrow.
I mean, I have to execute. I have to help them. So that's what I was trying to say to them. I'm like, listen, let's level set. Because I'm not going to present this timeline to you like this is a great thing and I have it all figured out. This sucks. Like, this is going to be really hard over the next couple of months. These projects probably should have kicked off at least 3 to 4 weeks ago. With that said, I'm working on all of these projects as well. So when you're looking at this timeline that says we have about 6 different things to get done in one day, yeah, we're probably going to be working late. When you're looking at something where we have a client review on Monday we're probably gonna be working over the weekend a bit. Like I know that. I apologize if and I inherited the work. So it's not even like I didn't mess up and not kick the project off. It is what it is. And I'm looking at so much stress over the next couple of months. And I'm trying not to but I can feel it in my body. And I was walking and I was rushing out of here to move the car because I had gotten off, calls with my boss late. And then I was thinking like, how can I boost the morale? Because people are not happy. And because they know it's going to be like quite hell. And then we have like a monkey wrench a pending one that's looming, but it has to do with like legality and stuff. So we have to wait until we get the final word. And once we get it, we have 30 days to update everything, regardless of where we're at in all the projects. So it's just going to be a lot.
Tricky.
And then I just had a bunch of friends reaching out to me, a bunch of people frustrated with me that I haven't been, I guess, as present as I normally am for them. And then there's some folks who I do feel like I need to be more present for, but, I have someone in my life who, suffered a loss and we don't really know each other that well, but I know that she's looking for some sort of support from me, and I just don't have it to give right now, and that I feel badly about that. So I felt all that coming up, and I just started crying as I walked to the car. I just was like, because I want to be in all these places, but I also just want to hide under a fucking blanket right now.
It does feel pressure cookery. It feels like a pressure cooker.
Yeah, that's what it's feeling like. That's what it's feeling like. So anyway, and I don't, what I don't want, like I'm going to come home this weekend. We're going to celebrate Jasmine and Amanda's birthday. We have a whole itinerary, and I don't want all of this to steal that joy. I don't want that to just be another thing to do, then I start looking at it as like, I have to pack, I have to get Blue home, I have to this, I don't have any outfits, I don't have any, and it's all starting to pile up of like, this is supposed to be fun. This is a good thing that you are going to be around people. So I'm just trying to be cognizant of, my language and my approach as well. But boy, oh boy.
It's really interesting when things get difficult or there's a lot of responsibility. And it just clicked for me, it pushes you to like fall back on your narrative, like your baseline narrative of I'm not supported, or I'm overextending myself, like I'm responsible for so many people, and it's a good time to like flex a different pushing back on that baseline narrative that can just have you go down the hole. And I'm speaking to myself because I'm like,
I know. And you know what else? It's not even for me right now. I don't know if other people can identify with this. And this is a good problem to have, I guess. But I also feel that there's just a lot of people right now, all of a sudden, who want to share space with me. And it's just like to hang and like enjoy each other. And they miss that and they're frustrated in that way so I don't even know if it's like a showing up and I'm responsible for them. Some people, but some people are just like, yo, they just want a certain kind of friendship. They want it to look a certain way, and I can't offer it because I'm just busy.
Interesting.
And so that's a good problem to have, but I'm trying, I'm honest about it. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Like even tonight, people FaceTiming me and I can tell frustrated and, making little comments of like, oh, back when we were friends, stuff like that. And it's not one person, it's like multiple people. So I'm also asking myself like, have you disappeared? Are you a trash ass friend? So I'm just checking in with that. I'm also about to get my period. So it's the end of the world.
Doomsday.
I am literally pregnant right now. My stomach is the size, I'm giving 6 months. My ovaries have tripled in size, I feel. I don't know what's going on over here, but it ain't right. So I'm just not feeling my best at all. But here I am about to do a podcast, so make sure you tune in and keep listening. Like right now,
We're gonna get it
I
together.
just, I just,
We're
I
gonna be all right,
literally,
y'all. But shout out to all the people that are feeling similarly. Shout out to everybody. I wonder. I'd imagine that there are folks that are on the same cycle as us. Because Antoinette, you're right. We are on a similar cycle, and
Mhm.
we're all in the doomsday despair with about 3 days of delight. And shout out to everybody that's in the doomsday phase of their cycle. That's
Yeah,
what my cycle's giving. Doomsday, despair, and then like 3 days of delight and like, oh.
yeah. Hopefully, I reel it in. I also want to say that when people are feeling like this on their period, or premenstrual, a really good thing to do is to eat really well and drink a whole lot of water because the worst. I know we be wanting to eat bad, but I'm telling you, if you get that kale salad in you, I'm stuck on these kale salads. But if you get that kale salad in you, if you drink your water, you're gonna feel a little better. Because I just feel like I need to detox. Everything. I just gotta get it, just purge. But anyway, pray for me. And if anybody has any suggestions on how they manage their own despair, sadness, sorrow, let me know.
Gotta get on some herbs. Or try
So,
smoking herb. I don't know.
um, that's one thing. I cannot take edibles if I cannot have an edible if I'm
What happens?
premenstrual. The sadness is intensifies
Oh.
and I just wallow in it at night.
Mm.
And then I'll just play my games on my phone and spend a ton of money.
Girl,
Spend like
stay away from the
$35 on fucking Candy Crush. And I'm like, what is life? You're going to be alone forever playing Candy Crush with your fucking cat. Hi. And you're supposed to enjoy that. So I'm like, no,
That's how I am
when
with
I'm
high.
premenstrual.
That's me every time I
Same.
smoke. That's why I can't do it.
And then I got my hair braided. Shout out
It
to Hair
looks
by
great.
Makara _. Thank you. And
Fabulous.
then I don't love it. And I know she killed it. And I know this is me being insane and about to get my period. I wanted them thicker because I have a big head. So all I see is a big head. I'm getting this double chin thing. My chin is falling as I get
Okay, we're
older.
cutting it off now.
No, I'm serious. Like this is what I see. But what I'm saying is I know that what you ever look in the mirror and be like, I know that's not really what's happening. Like it's like face dysmorphia, body dysmorphia. It's all of the morphias when I'm going through this. It's like a clinical thing. So pray for me. But I say that because I can't even get in the tub and let the water just hit me so I can weep.
Did.
Because I'm going to mess my braids up.
Damn. That's a
I
black
feel
girl
like maybe I need to
problem.
take these out and just weep.
Black girls
Just
can't
weep.
even be in sorrow entirely
Can't
like
even-
them fucking selves.
Right. You can't even
God
really weep the way you
damn.
should. So I'm telling y'all, on your next wash day, sit your ass down in that tub. Let that hot shower water hit your back and hit your face
And cry.
and just start screaming
Just wail.
and crying.
Just wail.
Wail.
Scream and cry.
Shoulders. That's what you need. If your shoulder's not bouncing, you're not doing it right. In other news, I have discovered something. For all of the people who struggle with reading and who you might be multitasking, I will find an article on my phone and I'll text it to myself to be like, oh yeah, I definitely want to read this. And then I'll forget or I won't get back to it or I won't be able to sit and just look at the phone or I don't want to sit and look at the phone. There is a new feature on the iPhone where you can you select all the text and then you just hit speak
Word.
and it'll read it to you.
All the word.
Any text.
Coming.
Any text on the Googles, it will read it. I said, wow, this is incredible. So today I was multitasking, cleaning my kale, and I was like, I need to listen to an interview that we're going to talk about later, but I don't have time to stop what I'm doing and actually read it. And that bitch read it for me. So y'all, if you got an iPhone, it's quite incredible. You can even program the voice. I said, wow. What a time to be alive.
Who is? I'm curious to know what your lady sounds like, but not right now.
It's a man. I don't know why it's a man. It's a white
Interesting.
man.
Hmm. One no white man,
Also,
nothing.
Shanti and I did a thing. We were on Horrible Decisions podcast. Um, Make sure you all check that out. That episode is called the Madonna Horror Complex. Remember
Ciao.
when she thought it was Madonna the singer? Hey, Mandy.
Both of them did.
Mandy.
Ciao.
I know. God bless them. But we had a good old time on there, and the video is also on their YouTube channel. And this episode is episode 263, Madonna Horror Complex, featuring the Around the Way Curls podcast. It's a quick listen, hour and 10 minutes, if that's quick. And yeah, that was fun. Good times. Good times.
They're also going to be at the Roots Picnic, and we're going to be at the Roots Picnic on
True.
June 4th and 5th, Saturday and Sunday, hot summer. Roots Picnic is a musical festival created and curated by the legendary Roots crew of Philadelphia. Come through, amazing lineup. There's going to be a podcast stage. We're going to be on it, hearts beating, passionate, and doing the best that we can. Coming through with the come through. Shout out to everyone that has bought tickets already. I am going to do some research, getting lots of questions around where folks can potentially stay and what they can do in Philly. So in order to sell this to you motherfuckers, I will do a little bit of due diligence of just sharing some nice hotels and stays and areas close to Fairmount Park.
Airbnbs too.
Yeah, that you can check out in some food places. So be on the lookout for that. And buy your tickets now at therootspicnic.com.
Boom. Take us into pop culture, Queen.
So we are not done yet talking about this
Ugh.
whole Will fiasco this week or last week, but I don't know exactly when. But recently, the Academy has finally responded to the debacle, and they have banned Will Smith from attending the Academy for 10 years. Will has responded saying that I understand and respect their decisions. Lots of folks are saying that it's too harsh. Many folks are saying it's not long enough. I don't feel any kind of way about it particularly. I mean, 10 years feels like a really, 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 really long
It's a decade.
time. It feels like a really long time. And it feels like you guys should have done something immediately and you didn't do it. So now you're just kind of like flailing to, I don't know, to have a stance. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Decade.
He should have not been allowed to continue to like do his thing. If you guys were going to do something and punish him, why didn't you let him party and take pics? And so weird. That's so weird. But here we are. What do you think?
I just think a decade is ridiculous. But I also have a unpopular opinion on this. And I accept that. But I just feel like a decade, really? Also, I also think it's a little bit of payback for Jada being like, we need to boycott the Oscars.
Oh, really?
Oscars is so white. Yeah, I also feel like maybe they're like, yo, you wanted to boycott us so bad. Fuck out of here.
Get your black ass
I don't
out
know. I don't know. I think my hot take on it is, this is just a lesson in how quickly you can fall from the good graces of the masses. And that man lived, how old is he? 50-something?
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Years old.
Summertime.
No, but like he's been the like ideal citizen up until this point.
Got up
and how quickly. And I'm not saying that just because he's, been that he shouldn't have it. There should be no consequence. I kept saying you got to be ready to deal with the consequences. I don't think you're wrong, but consequences come with it. Here's the consequence. And I appreciate him just being like, I accept it. Cool.
Does he get to keep the Oscar though, right? He keeps
he keeps that. I mean, if Harvey Weinstein gets to keep his Oscars, I'll blow that Hollywood sign up. Like y'all playing. I think it's really interesting, Chris Rock, how he's not talking about it and he's on tour, but how he said he'll talk about it when he gets paid to talk about it. I think he's gonna ride this out a little bit.
He
I
said
think
he'll
it's
talk about it when he gets paid to talk about it.
yeah, he was like, I'll talk about it when I get paid.
Oh
So
boy,
he's like,
that's
if you want to
gross
slap me, I'm gonna make
too.
some money off of this. Fuck it. Then he was like, I got my hearing back. I'm fine. I was like, really? Now you lost your hearing?
He said
Okay.
he's.
I'm just like, all right. I know that you're the victim here, but okay.
Yes.
And I don't like all these stories coming out. I have like I love some of my friends, but my Negro friends are can't. They sending me all these stories about how Jada back in the day said she never wanted to marry Will Child, and she followed up with it, and it was the best thing that I've ever done. So just y'all just taking clips out of context
Just
and
mind
just
your
trying to
fucking
blame it.
business.
Listen,
Mind
let me
your
tell y'all something.
business.
Here's the best thing. I got something for everybody. Look up Will Smith's um, net worth. All right. Look up Chris Rock's net worth. And then look up yours. Mind your fucking business. Get your shit together. Like this ain't not, like this is stupid. We're literally arguing and we are struggling. We don't even tax season came and we're sick. We owe them motherfuckers $1,000 and we don't know how we gonna do it. So let's just focus. Okay. Let's focus on the things that matter.
Fuck.
This is just silly. In other news, Twitter went crazy when our friend Donald Glover interviewed himself for
Interview.
Interview magazine.
Yeah.
There you go. Did you read it, Shani?
I did.
Okay. What were your thoughts?
I wasn't the least important thing to me was the fact that he interviewed himself. I don't give a
Same.
fuck. I think he covered and touched on dope topics that I feel like he wanted to get out and he wanted to share. And I thought it was a great interview. I enjoyed it. I like him a lot. I really like him. I respect him. I'm interested in his point of view. I respect the integrity that I think he
Mm-hmm.
carries. I respect his love of art. I like his
Mm-hmm.
tastes. And I think he's a family man. And I think he really loves family. So listen, his white queen is a lucky woman. Shout out to you, woman. You lucky. I hope
Yes.
you having fun. And he's
On a farm.
on a farm.
On a farm with a pregnant cow they getting their milk from. Shout
Child,
out to them.
just she painting and shit. She a little artsy girl. I let
Mm-hmm.
them live their life. And also she's half Asian, so she gets a little bit of
Oh. Well.
she's a white Asian.
I feel the same. I also think half the people didn't even read it. I think they saw the little thing on the shade room and was like, he said what about black people? Why would he say that? That is weird. I really
What
think
did he
it's
say
so
about black
interesting
people? That was
when he was when he asked himself and was like, "What are your thoughts on race?" And he was like, "Can I say something? I hate talking about race more than 5 minutes unless it's with other black people and we're laughing. Can I ask you one last one? Then I'm done. Do you think black has lost its value in a way?" But like he kept going and um, he talked about how like asked himself, you know, are you afraid of black women? Are you? I think these are all things that has been on his mind that he knows people have conversations around. He's like, I'm just going to talk about it. I also think it's really interesting to see the approach of your double consciousness in that way, or your subconscious. Like we have these conversations with ourselves. We might not be interviewing ourselves, but there are things when we check in or we
I
question
love
what
that.
we've done.
Yeah.
And then how interesting is it for him to, it's a little narcissistic maybe and insane, but how cool is it for him to say, okay, this is what I want to talk about. I don't trust interviewers to get this out of me. So I'm going to make fun of the whole interview process. I'm going to interview myself instead of just writing an essay and do what I want to do.
It was
I kind of
cute.
appreciated it.
And I liked his, they said, who was the last person that you had a deep conversation with? And he was like, myself. He was like, I
Yeah.
go and I go over my life and I, you know, I reflect.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the things that he said about his mom and that he missed his dad and like how he's trying to raise his kids. It was dope. I liked
I
it.
love the rebrand
Oh,
angle as well. When they were like, oh, what do you like? What did they say? Maybe, but your work seems to be socio-political now and all this stuff. And so he was just like, yeah, but it's not a rebrand. It's just growth. You know, like if Malcolm X was still alive, would we really look at him and say, oh, he rebranded himself after Mecca? Like, no, he just fucking grew. And he was like, my work should be a reflection of me growing. And
yeah.
that just made me think like not everything is fucking content.
Well,
Not everything.
yeah.
You
It
know,
was,
it's a human experience.
yeah, and an air of caution to social media. He was like, people that are on the
Yeah.
internet all the time look tired. They don't look like
Tired in real life. They look fucking exhausted.
Uh,
He's talking to us. Oh no. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and I'm always happy for people who quote unquote made it, and they made it in a way where they don't need social media. They're not like, all right, we got to post, we got to get on, we got to grind, we got to grind. It's you know, I really admire the folks like the Dave Chappelles who can just post one thing, or even the Crystals who will have like one picture on social media, the read, that's it, you're done. Beyonce, like all these people. Beyonce is one there. She's like, I've been high my whole life. You gonna see my fucking.
So look at my outfits. Okay.
She said, look at my fits, kids. Look at me.
Please.
But you know, she doesn't have to. The Jay-Z's who's like hopped on IG and it was like, nah, I'm good, love, dip back out. Like
just to promote whatever I don't even know.
Yeah, and was done with it. And so interesting. I encourage people to check it out and to actually read it. Because the tweets that I read, I was like, it's obvious people didn't read this. But also, just real quick, speaking of Beyonce, did you see that Solange was trending today? You're not on Twitter.
No, why?
Because they think Jules has got somebody pregnant.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so she might be a grandma.
Damn, Jules.
That's a badass grandma. I said, wow. But you know what? And then there was another clip that was surfacing that because people were blaming Solange as though like, what?
How old is he?
I don't know.
He rich. Like what the?
Also, but it was an interesting. Apparently, like it's not just he has somebody pregnant. He's like not doing right by him or something. I don't know. But this is all hearsay. They don't know. They haven't confirmed it. He likes them with light eyes. This is Doug. Does he have light eyes?
Yes. It's an octoroon.
So. Anyway, I'm here for their beautiful family expanding. If that's the case, she handled it. She did it. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully, you know, there's a beautiful child and a supported and loved child.
Her family was pissed when Solange, she said, you better get rid of that baby. You're going to mess up Beyonce.
No, they didn't. Beyonce had her in the video.
We are Christians.
Don't do
marry that football player immediately.
All right, when Solange fuck you up, I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna be like,
that is out there in the world. That's an archive in the world that the family wanted her to immediately marry the football bull, and she did, and she regretted it because they were shame.
I think they've grown,
and they have. I'm not saying they should be banned from the academy for 10 years, but they rebranded.
Speaking of the church, you got something on here.
They have at the First United Church of Oak Park. I think it's in Chicago. The church is united and fasting from whiteness. Even though the preacher is a white man, they are symbolically fasting from whiteness, and they are not performing any songs written or composed by white people. So that church is probably bumping, and they're like, we are never going back to this.
That church is better off, child. They out here like,
we are never going back to the cracker sound.
They got Ty Tribbett. They all kinds of shit.
They in there jumping, child. But whatever. Shout out to them and their fast from whiteness.
I love that they said whiteness because that's the privilege, not white people. They're like, white people can come as long as you leave your whiteness at the door.
I ain't going nowhere. This is my job. How you gonna learn the Lord's good word from a black person? Don't be silly.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not so funny and really strange. It just feels
Mm.
very eerie to me. Is this developing story about the death of Christian Toby Obumseli? He was stabbed to death in Miami after a domestic dispute in which his girlfriend, 25-year-old OnlyFans model Courtney Taylor, her real name Courtney Clenny, was seen walking away with blood all over her. There are rumors that they had a very volatile relationship, that it was abusive and toxic, and she was detained that night and held for psychiatric care, and threatened to kill herself. But she remains free and not a suspect or a detained suspect in this case, and his family is now
She was just at a
demanding
bar.
justice. Yeah, she was seen walking around at a bar with her father, and somebody filmed her. And it's just the weirdest. It's so eerie to me. And like, I don't know what to think, because who knows if it was an abusive, what if she was defending herself? But also, what? He was a big man too. Big person. So prayers out to his family, and I hope that they get a little bit more information and we figure this out. But like, really gross videos are coming out of her saying dumb shit around
Really?
like dating wealthy black guys, and like just a huge following, millions of followers.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
just
that.
weird. That's why Donald Glover is not on the interwebs for this kind
Yeah.
of bullshit, and I
I'm
completely
praying for his
understand.
I'm praying for his fam whether I'm praying for his family regardless, because whether it was self-defense or not, you lost. Like that's a hard, that's just a
Yes.
hard thing to reconcile either
So,
way.
especially if you think that there's like a great
There was
injustice is
foul play,
happening. Like,
yeah.
what the? Definitely
And then
foul play,
she's
but like,
running around free. I don't know. Tricky. I don't know if he'd be free if the tables were turned, but
word,
it's
word.
tricky.
Child, that white church needs to pray about this. God
It
damn it.
also shows the kind of care that white women get in the judicial system. It's like she said, "Oh, I might kill myself. I feel like I'm going to kill myself." And then,
They took it to the hospital. Child.
was there any bail? Did she pay like
Must have
any?
been. She's probably got a lot of money. But shout out to the courts.
I hope the
Shout
truth
out
comes out.
to Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was confirmed by the Senate to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know the exact day. What was that?
I don't
Last
know. Last week.
Friday or something like that? But
Shout out to her.
shout out
Wow,
to her. Everybody's very excited. Everybody is, you know, shout
that's a
out to her.
big day. I know that we get on this country a lot, and this country has a lot of growth that it needs to experience and activate. But it's little steps. I really pray, I hope and pray that her influence rather, is felt on the court. I'll be really interested. Um, I always think the dissent, like the pieces where the judges dissent, even though they know like the vote's going to go through, and that but they make it a point to say why they're opposing what everybody else is in agreement with. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she became famous for her "I dissent" and her essays, or not essays, I don't know what the fuck you call them, but I'd be really curious to read some of her work. I think that she's very thoughtful in how she expresses herself and her feelings and how she explains her rulings. So I'd be curious to know, now that she has this lifetime appointment, will she become a little more less maybe calculated? She's a wordsmith, And so she doesn't like to rock the boat. It's pretty evident in some of the things that I've read that she's written. So I'm just curious to see how this shifts, when you have some shit. Like, it's like getting tenure or something. You're like, I'm good, I'm in here. So, but shout out to her, and shout out to her fucking parents.
I of course I have mixed. It's the optics are good. The optics are good. That's all I'll say. The optics are good.
The optics might be good, but you know what?
Or
I have someone in my life who said they feel sorry for her because they wish that Joey didn't announce, like, oh, the next Supreme Court justice is going to be a black woman. They wish that he would have just nominated her, But of course, he needed that to run and to, during his campaign, he needed to say that. But they just feel like that's always going to be a thing. Even though her resume, she's overqualified, they just feel like someone is always going to say, oh, well, you're in here because they needed a black woman or they needed this. I get the optics are good, but I think I'm hoping that we'll reap the benefits as well. Two things can exist at once.
Exactly. That's the most important fact. Two things can exist at once. You can have a black person in high places and in court, in weird places of power that have it's all good. That's a whole other. That's another episode.
Oh boy, look at Clarence motherfucking Thomas. This old raggedy.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just interesting how we assume I think historically we assume that when black people are put in these places of power or in these historical positions in these systems that are historically unjust and violent, even how we think that's like a win for black folks. And I think that's just interesting. It's just interesting. And I get the optics, but
I think it's just optics. How are you going to change something if you don't have someone in the room? And me personally, as someone who's read up on her and read some of her decisions and read her rulings, and she's not someone out here just blanketly throwing people behind bars. Like, she is really thoughtful with how she interprets the law.
Sure.
And we need that.
I just think the thing is the machine. It's like, who's driving?
The Constitution itself.
The machine is fucked up. Where is this machine going? I don't give a fuck who's riding it. Who all on there? Cool, but like, this machine is.
Well, speaking of the machine, go into the next.
Well, across the United States, at least a dozen states are considering new legislation that mirror Florida's new controversial law, referred to as Don't Say Gay. So many folks are trying to instate the same thing, and everybody's in an uproar. These laws seek to prohibit schools from using a curriculum or discussing topics of gender identity or sexual orientation for children in kindergarten to third grade. I think that's what the Florida law is, but all these states are trying to get different variations of this. Caitlyn Jenner had some thoughts about that, and Caitlyn completely supports it. She said that Florida did the right thing by banning the teaching of gender identity to very young children. I'm a big supporter of Ron DeSantis and what he's doing. I'm a parent. I've been in control of my children's destiny and what they learn in school. I have been in control of my children's destiny and what they learn in school, not some math teacher. I can teach those lessons. So yes, I'm a support of Ron DeSantis and what he's done. And Caitlyn went on to say how very disappointed she was in Disney.
I cannot with this. So what happens when there's children who know that they're gay at that age? Because I believe that there are. What happens when there's children who have gay parents at that age? Can they not talk about it? Like, what are the limitations of this? Like,
Well, I guess it's around curriculum, right? I don't think it's like you can't. I think it's an extreme. And it's extreme to say, oh, you can't talk about her if there's a child that has the same gender parents that like, oh, don't mention Mrs. Blah blah, Mrs. Blah blah. But the idea of like reading books to kids and introducing these
if
different,
there's two moms.
yeah, like from kindergarten to third grade is something that that's not appropriate for them. As a parent,
Because
you
it's
want to be the
something
one
that's
to, yeah, you want to be the one
shameful.
to or you not necessarily shameful, but you want to be the one to introduce the language and the culture around, yeah, I guess homosexuality and gender politics, which
I want to know what Sesame Street has to say about this. I'm dead serious. No, I'm really being serious because Sesame
is with this
Street,
shit. What are you talking about?
but they've done their due diligence. Like so many children turn Sesame Street on to learn about the world and to learn about culture and to learn about other people. And they really, as someone who's worked with Sesame Street at my former job, they are insane with the amount of market research that they do on their shows. I'd be so curious, not Disney, because Disney's all fucked up. They got us fucked up in the head. But I would be really curious to know what their thoughts are on this and what the studies are. I mean, I don't know. If I had a kid, I don't have a kid, so maybe this isn't for me. But if I had a child, would not have a problem with them reading a book that has two like gay parents in it. Like what? That's the world. How great is it that we're now accepting it as the normal, as something that is
I don't know.
Beautiful in a union.
I don't know. I guess the parents don't want to be forced to have those conversations. If a kid comes home like, yo, two mommies can be the thing. They don't want to they don't want to have this conversation. I guess the same way they don't want to have forced race stuff. But also Caitlyn apparently said that she knew she was transgender at like what, 5 or 8? I can't 3 or 8. One of the numbers. But like at a very young age, she knew that she was transgender.
Caitlyn betrays herself every other fucking day.
But it's also really interesting. Again, I think humans are amazing that we assume that transgender folks, or we assume that gay folks or black folks or women should have these kind of like ideals that support their freedoms, but like no.
Yeah, I do think that. Sorry. Yeah, I do. But I also know that Caitlyn Jenner lived most of her life as a fucking white man. So her conditioning is conditioned.
Her politics are like real conservative. She like, I wear a dress.
Her politics reflect those of a rich white man.
But that's I think that's interesting.
And you vote against you're voting against your own self-interest.
It'd be like that. She's like, my self-interests are taken care of. I can buy Manolo Blahnik size 12s, okay? Get on my level.
Be quiet. Okay. Let's move on. Also, another fucked up news. See, now I'm getting upset. Texas. I really used to think about Houston. I used to really think like maybe I belong in Houston. No. Texas, thank God, their district attorney is filing a motion to dismiss a murder charge against a woman arrested last week in connection with what law enforcement called the death of an individual by self-induced abortion. So, of course, here goes Texas with this fucking raggedy-ass abortion law where they are monitoring our bodies in a way that's unreal. And so, half the time, what is it, 8 weeks, 6 weeks? Something just fucking retarded. Where you don't even really most women don't even know that they're pregnant yet. Apparently a woman, we don't need to say her name because she don't need any shame coming her way from anybody who doesn't understand this. But she apparently aborted her child. It seemed that she did this by herself, which is incredibly dangerous. Most likely because, yeah, right, we're back there. Most likely because she probably didn't have the resources, couldn't find anyone to do it, found out too late. And of course, healthcare professionals are scared to do it in that state now because they could lose their license, got to go to jail, even if someone like if it even on they're accepting hearsay as evidence at this point. We're like somebody told me that this
Yeah,
person's
right,
cousin
right,
did an
right.
abortion. It's just wild.
They were gonna
So
call
it's
you a witch in about
right. That's what's
3 more
next.
years.
You walk around with some fucking sage and your ass gonna be
Witch.
on a spike. But anyway, I'm really happy to hear that the district attorney is filing this motion. I hope that it works out in her favor, but I think that this is a conversation that this is when I'm really happy that a Ketanji Brown Jackson is on the fucking court. Because as much as we want to talk about optics, numbers matter, and it's a numbers vote. And I'm not gonna assume what her vote would be. I think based off of her testimony and her previous rulings that she would rule in favor of Roe v. Wade. But this is where that shit is very important, where it's not just optics. And, you know, hopefully Joey can get another couple of them in there because it's scary. It's scary to think what could happen. What could happen in the near future, from climate change to our bodies to voting rights to all the things. So, shout out to her. Ciao. We have new patrons this week.
Ooh.
Shout out to, can you say these names, Queen?
Shout out to Soja and Ashlyn.
You know who you are. We appreciate your support. And we also have a voicemail. So, we have 2 voicemails. Somebody else came through. We'll play both of them. One moment. Can you write this down, Shanti?
I was up last night listening to Eating Ass May Kill You, and that shit was funny as fuck. I've been listening to y'all for a while now, and really just enjoy hearing 2 biracial women talking shit. And I'm like here for it. And I really also hope you do a episode on Gerard's special because I think it's a masterpiece. I'm a Jasmine fan as well. I was happy about that. Politics as usual is a little dicey sometimes, but I can get with it. It's like there's moments where I cringe, but I kind of like what you guys are saying. I think you 2 are amazing. I wish I was as cool as you guys are. I do. I think you're like hip and interesting and being real and just it's like so refreshing. The shit is so black. It's just like kind of just it makes me smile and happy and joyful. But that last episode was ridiculous. So thank you. I was up all night composing and listening to that podcast in the background, and it really gave me so much energy. So I had to call and say thanks. All right, bye. Oh, this is Darius.
One more.
Child, I am listening to y'all on the way to work. I work in the hospital, so I like to listen to y'all before work, before I have to be in this place for a long time. But I am laughing so much at this episode. I love y'all. I have been listening to y'all for the longest. I just love your show. But child, eating ass may kill you. I am dying. Listen, when the little nose get in that butthole and they try to come kiss you and that nose, all you can smell is shit. This ain't it. We not doing this.
Oh.
Antoinette, I'm so sorry, But the Three Musketeers candy, that shit could be burnt to the ground. That is the most nastiest candy in the world. You know you was mad as hell, right, Tracy? When you went trick or treating, got that nasty shit. Oh no, take this back. This is awful. It's like one of them little strawberry candies they used to give you, the old ladies. Like, where the fuck did y'all get this from? I don't know. That is a little bit too nasty for me. I am laughing. There's so many points on this show, on this episode, that I'm cracking the fuck up. The size of the hands will show you the size of the dick. I agree, but what does it mean when there's calluses on the palms of their hands? Does that mean something? They're going to have genital warts or something? I don't know.
That's a good tip. That's a real... That's trying to true sloppy shame dick.
And just keep doing y'all thing. I swear, this episode, in tears, laughing so hard. Have a blessed day, y'all.
Not the turn signal clicking.
Queen. If it's calluses on that king's hand, he's put it down.
But okay. like similar to the D'Angelo type of fucker, where you're ashamed. He probably sloppy, nasty. Just somebody.
I don't even think it's sloppy and nasty. He just know how to. He's not afraid to do some work. Not afraid to get it done. I'm here for a worker bee. Come on, King. Give me a callous hand any day. And then when they sit there and they trying to get it off, I'm like, ooh.
Who you know that had callous hands like that, girl?
Child. Mind your business. Oh my God. Shout out to Darius, who was like, politics as usual make me cringe because y'all bitches don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. I'm going to go ahead and keep composing my scores real quick. This week, I wonder, he's going to be like, these stupid. I wonder what makes him cringe, me or you, because we're so polar opposites on politics. Not polar, but it's giving partisan.
I wonder. I think most people have side with you with politics.
I don't think so.
Oh, I do.
I think a lot of people side with you on politics as well. I think that we've got an even split. Maybe that's a question to ask the people. When it comes to politics as usual, do you agree with Shanti or Antoinette? Put that in the stories this week. Anywho, we thank you. We thank you for these calls because they really do make our day. They make my day anyway. I hope. I hope y'all keep calling us at 215-948-2780. That's 215-948-2780. With that, let's take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about more things that we don't know anything about, which is God and God using us. And I'm going to do my very best to shepherd us through this topic. So, Shanti?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
You try to do it like a church? Boop. I can't.
No, I ain't going to no goddamn church. You're going to be talking about God when you know I got demons in my head talking to me.
Me too. I'm like, God. Yo, did you see everybody and their fucking mom? I already put it in there. At Jazz's last show. Jennifer Hudson posted a video on Twitter. It was like, wow, Buster singing in the crowd.
I didn't see Jennifer Hudson, but I saw her party with Megan and all them, and I was like, yeah, she is tired. Look at Jazz.
First of all, she texted me and was like, girl, I was trying to stay awake, them fucking kids. That video of Megan throwing her in the car, she was like, I was trying to go home. Just wanted to go home. I was like, yo, I'm fucking tired and I'm sick. You saw her when she was just posing, like they were all dancing. I said, that's the face of the baby that wants to go to bed. She's had it. She's like, tired. I'm happy to meet you all.
Do you know how many times she would just stare at us as we
acted crazy? She ain't got it in her. She tried. She did. I was proud of her for going. I really was. 'Cause Lord knows that child.
It was so cute, though. Exciting.
It was cute. I was happy to see everybody so excited.
The light-skinned guy from Insecure posted, too. He was like,
he loves her.
Such a fan. I tried to go.
No, they were all, Diddy was out there singing his little ass off. They got footage of him like in the crowd. Who else?
It was
They
in
had,
LA.
yeah, they had every Snow out Algeria, as I like to refer to her. All of them was there. They all tagging her and stuff. It's cute. I feel bad though because she was sick, so she was still struggling. Hi, Blue. Anyway, I could really use her right now for this topic.
People like, God,
I'm like,
you gotta know
let
how
him
to
use
sing.
you.
You gotta have a talent.
All right, we back. And we are back. So I was maybe just a little too inspired last week.
Set us up for the okie doke.
And I set myself up thinking that I was spiritual. Did you see my post? Or not spiritual, or like, you know, just real in touch with God in a way that I don't know if I am. But we're going to try. Did you see my post to Jasmine? I was like, and just like David, slingshot in hand, you took down Goliath. It was like, girl, relax. It's too much.
Like that.
That's the only thing you had to Google what David killed Goliath with. Look, I can't even say it. And it was a slingshot, I believe. I hope
Goliath
nobody...
was a cyclops?
Excuse me?
Goliath had one eye?
No, he had a slingshot. What are you talking about? Goliath was a man. I'm sorry, David.
But Goliath was a cyclops. Did he have one
I don't know
eye?
if he was a cyclops. I don't know.
He was a big person.
He was a big person.
man.
Wait, look that up. Google that.
The Bible be tricking you sometimes. I be like, is it the Bible?
Or is it Star Trek? Which one?
It's Game of Thrones. Not
It's
sure.
Game of Thrones, y'all. Anyway. No, seriously. So
I can't believe I'm writing that. Niggas. He had one eyeball. I think he had one eye. He might have just.
maybe he had one eye from the slingshot afterwards because he hit him in the eye. Maybe that's the story. I don't think he started with one eye. Y'all.
Child.
All right, for real, let's start. Boom. So I was inspired by Jasmine, when she went on stage for the Soul Train Awards, and that man screamed out, "Let him use you!" When she was like, "I have something I want to say to y'all," and they screamed out, "Let him use you!" And I was like, "Let him use you." No, it really did sit with me, and I swear it did. And then like time passed, and I forgot about it. And then I read her post when she thanked people after she got the Grammy, and how she was talking about, you know, it being a win for everybody, and hoping that this inspired folks to tap into their own gifts and basically their own offerings, right? Whether it's on a large scale or not, you know, there's something that we're supposed to do. And then I have this other friend that was in my ear, and they're always saying God is the ability in man. God is love, and God is the ability in man. And not like what the ability, like not like the will to have the ability, but the actual ability, like the actual talent. So like if you open your mouth and you sing in that way, that is God. So it's like, that's why we're having a spiritual experience, because we're experiencing God, like in your ability. When we see what Alvin Ailey perform, we're like, wow, that's God. When we see, you know, anything that really touches us, or we listen to a dope ass podcast that makes you just sit or crack up laughing or whatever that is, that's God, right? That's in the way that they see it. So I wanted to explore that a little bit. Because then I got to thinking, well, what is my ability? And I got depressed because I didn't know. But I really want to explore that, as hard as it is. And I feel my face getting hot thinking about it.
Oh, girl, calm down now.
But if God is the ability in man, right? Think about, what was his name? Nathaniel?
Gerard,
yeah, but
don't be calling by his government name that he don't like.
The name of the special. We talked about that, and I do want to revisit that. But in watching that, I do believe that was God. I think that Gerard in that special And, you know, for those of you, we told y'all to watch it last week, but for those of you that didn't watch it, he came out in a really beautiful, personal, even though it's very public, but personal, thoughtful, tender way that I believe most likely helped a lot of folks, gay or not, just see him process that and to see that kind of courage, you know, where it's like, wow, what can I stop lying about? What can I be, you know? So in doing that, I feel that is an offering. And so if God is the ability in man, I like to think that for me, I think that I've always looked at life and thought, if I am living this life of mine, you know, I don't need the rich to be rich and famous and all that shit. But it'd be nice. But the main thing is, like, if I got there, it would need to be being in service to others. What am I doing here if not to make it easier for other people? That's how I've always viewed it. And I'm now like, okay, so I think the step to getting to what your ability is to figure out your purpose, and they're tied together in a certain way that might make us uncomfortable if we're having existential crises. But for me, maybe currently my ability is to be vulnerable. I think I can do that with more ease than others. And I think that helps people, especially on this platform. I think it helps me, but I'm also trying to figure out, okay, what are my other abilities then? If I'm saying that my life is to be in service to God, to others, and to make this thing called life easier. And I don't know what else they are.
Girl.
So I ask you, what are your abilities? What are you exploring?
I'm not interested in purpose.
Okay.
I'm not interested in the idea of purpose. I feel like that is I feel like it may block or limit or box authenticity in some ways. Like, I don't necessarily feel like I can be in control, nor do I want the responsibility to be in control of how I bless, how I affect other people. Like, of course, I don't want to cause any harm, and I want to show up and be kind to people, but I don't want this responsibility that you're coming for this thing that you think I can, that I feel like I'm responsible in giving people. So I don't know. I definitely look at people, and I definitely can see clearly, like, oh, you're on this planet and you are doing this thing that only you can do, and like I get it, but I don't quite understand people that are like fixated on this idea of purpose, or even feel like, oh, I found my purpose, versus, for instance, Donald Glover, who feels like he's committed to art in a specific kind of way. He's committed to authenticity and like integrity in art and whatever he's creating in a particular way. And he's like touching and cracking open people through that, versus like, my purpose on life is to be an artist and to open people up. And I personally can't, I'm not going to put myself through the disappointment or the feeling of failure or the feeling of great responsibility to be like, my purpose on life is to make people
Facts.
laugh on around the way curls. Cause like, nigga, what?
But what if it's not that? I think you bring up a really great point. So what if the path to your purpose is living your most authentic life?
I think that's it. I think it's managing. It's just having the human experience, right? Like Gerard was so beautiful because he was in practice of some of the highest ideals, just like you said, of honesty, of courage, of compassion for his mom and and the people in his life, of mastery in his art form. Like his storytelling was just like, so there's like, obviously there's a discipline and a skill set that was involved in how he presented it. That's some high level human fucking shit. That's some high level human shit. And I respect it and I admire it. And it makes me want to unlock those things for myself. Cause I think when you are in practice of those things, and like you said, you're vulnerable about it, it unlocks something for other people to like touch and feel and I don't know. And admire. Like just admire it. Like I just admire Beyonce. I admire her so much. Do I want to like be Beyonce? Couldn't even just
No, but that's not, I don't think that's what I mean when I ask what the abilities are, what your abilities are. Like, you know how the saying where they say, God gives you gifts and it's not for you to kind of hoard, it's for you to share. Maybe that's the way that they're saying, maybe that's in a way for you, what you're saying is, well,
I don't want to know
me
them.
being, well, or it's my way of being is the gift.
Yeah,
I'm just going to live as authentically
I'm
as I
gonna try to
possibly can. And that will affect who it affects.
Yeah.
Right?
Purpose
no?
feels scary to me, right? Because like if you think of, somebody in Ukraine, their purpose was to be a teacher and like they work really hard and they've been touching kids and then like, I don't know.
But are
shit
they
gets
not being a
bombed.
teacher?
No, but like, I don't know. Purpose is just hard for me. It's like you identify with this thing that can be taken away from you. Like
But it's not, I don't know if it's that. I don't know. I don't know if, how can you take away what I'm not saying I want to be a X and it's a career. What I'm saying is my purpose is to help. I feel like it's to help make life easier for folks, for people to experience joy, and to assist folks. I can do that in so many ways. So even if a Ukraine situation happens, dear God, let it not, there's still ways for me to do that. So I think that's what I mean when I'm talking about the gifts of it's not, I don't look at Jasmine and see her as a singer. I don't look at Gerard and see him as a comedian. I think you're hitting the nail on the head. I'm looking at people, and when I'm most inspired by them, they're living as their authentic lives of getting on stage and saying, I don't feel good right now. I've gained weight. I'm uncomfortable. I used to hide. I'm working through that. I'm trying not to hide anymore. Yeah. And I hope you all don't either. Looking at him, same thing. I used to lie. I'm trying not to hide anymore. So I guess maybe the question is, Miles Davis has this incredible quote where he says, it takes a long time to sound like yourself. And so I think with all of the reeling it back into social media and everything, it's really hard to figure out what your authentic self is. And it might change from time to time. But maybe, I don't know, maybe we have to check in more. Like how do you know when you're living authentically? Or if you're not, in what ways are you trying to live more authentically so you are in alignment with God using you, quote unquote?
I mean, I can feel it. I don't feel there's ease. There feels like there's like a communion with um there feels like there's communion in my life, like energetically, versus me just trying to like plow ahead or like get from point A to point B. There feels like there's like an exchange happening. There feels like um I'm learning new things. I'm being exposed to new things. It just energetically feels like there's exchange there. So that opportunity of like, yeah, that alchemy of like energy is happening versus, you know, I don't know, just being monotonous or being routine or being like super focused on one thing or being um, just caught up in my head and what I think I'm doing or what I'm not doing. Um, for me feels like an authentic life. I have the time and the space to kind of like check in with myself and to share with others energetically in a particular kind of way. When it's too much of people, you get lost in people. If it's too much in with myself, I'm just in my head and it's equally as like terrifying. So just that balance and that intentional space to be created and like you said earlier, to be honored and to be present in it so that you can like show up and you can be seen and you can see others. It's in, for me, it's always in connection with other people. It's always in engagement and energy with other people. And it's less about a performance. When I feel performative in any way, I personally feel blocked. I personally feel like, yeah, it's hard for me to be a conduit or a vessel of anything because it's a very self-focused place, an insecure place. Even it's like self-obsessed and maybe even insecure. So I'm just worried about what.
Insecure, explain that more.
Like if I'm not, I don't know, if you're not being present with someone, or if we have an exchange with somebody and you're just in your head about how you're sounding, or like, am I appealing to this person? Are they hearing what I'm saying, or I'm trying to hide something from somebody? So like a lot of energy is spent trying to protect or withhold something versus being vulnerable in that moment. And like, you know, there's a sense of insecurity. Like I gotta be on, I gotta perform. I can't offend this person. I gotta protect myself in some kind of way. But like, I mean, that's a very intimate one-on-one exchange. But not in the same way it's not. Like even with this podcast, doing this and the people are listening, you know, there's a presence that's demanded and coming from a place of like, yeah, just being present and not being like, let me not say the thing that's going to piss somebody off, or let me not, you know, let me sound a certain way, yada, yada, yada. You know?
Yeah. What about, I'm curious to know, what about when it comes to mothering? Like, what is your child's relationship with God based off of like how, and her abilities and God using her in purpose based off of how, like, what are you teaching her? How do you have these conversations?
I think it's just a similar thing of helping her to check in with herself, helping her to be aware of what is an inspiration or guidance or a space that feels authentic and not coming from fear or not coming from worry, or not trying to like rock the boat kind of space, or just being really reactive and angry. So it's just a constant, and the way that I try and show it or try and share, model that It's like I have to be that thing. She has to see me
Mm.
doing those same things with her, especially, or else she's like, she can't really feel it to be true. She can automatically sense that, like, get the fuck out of here. You don't even do the same way with your parents, like when that whole do what I say and not what I do. Like kids can easily snuff out and sense like, yeah, but you don't do that shit. Like I don't get the fuck out of here. So I don't talk about God or purpose with her on a daily basis, but I think we're constantly touching and feeling and aware of each other's like inner worlds in a particular kind of way. But I don't necessarily, use the word God.
It's interesting because I still feel drawn to purpose. I still feel drawn to like sit and reflect on like, are you, I almost want to write a sticky note and put it on my mirror. It's like, all right, how are you living out your purpose today? Or how are you using your abilities today? Because I do think that I can get caught up in all of the tasks where I'm productive, but there's, even when I'm at work, there's a way that I can go about engaging people and I know how to do it, where I can make their day better. Whether it's a gift to send or, a way I'm going to send this message or whatever it is. And I hear you when you say if it feels performative, because sometimes it is me actively doing something that I know will make, I know, like being so self-aware and aware of others and the energy that I'm like, this is what's needed right now.
Mm-hmm.
I might not feel like it, but this is what's needed. And so maybe it's different for you and I, and that's okay. Like maybe it's
it's something about being caring and mindful, right?
Yeah.
And like,
of course, but
generous.
I do think sometimes it's performative.
Yeah, but if it's not
For
like
me.
coming from a real place of like
hiding, I'm not hiding.
Yeah.
When I'm doing it, but I'm definitely on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's required.
How does it give you life or does it feel like
it can? And I think it's honoring and being authentic and being honest. Like today I couldn't do it. I was like, I ain't got it. I will cry on the way to the car. But in other times I can. And I should more. But I think when I get caught up, sometimes I have to remind myself in the mundane things, because if I could do this full time, I would. My day job is not something I learn a lot. I have great people, and I'm like, okay, I have benefits and shit. I'm feeling, like this is, it could be worse. It could be better, but it's giving a good B plus, But that sometimes I'll look at myself like, are you living your purpose? But I have to remind myself what my purpose is. And I think we can get tripped up on success versus purpose, right? And what success looks like and getting put on. And it's like, I'm definitely naming Jasmine, I'm naming Gerard, and these are people who have fame, but there are everyday folks who are living the hell out of their purpose. And it doesn't look like that at all. It might be, and I don't even want to say on a more macro level, because the impact might be just as large. But I think maybe that's what I get caught up in. So just, I say all this, and we don't have to go back and forth on it all night, but it's something that I'm sorting through in my own head and looking, I think, for help. I was Googling, how can you let God use you? And I was listening to some of the, pastors and preachers and things, but there really isn't a clear definition. And I think, or a clear way. There never the fuck is, right? It's like self-care, how to let God use you. It's like, I'm trying to just give me a practical timeline. Let me know what the steps are, and I'm going to do that. But of course, it's not like that. So I don't know. I think it's if people have any suggestions to offer, I think one is recognizing the difference between your purpose and what society views as success. Making, making it it was interesting. I saw again on Jasmine's stories where she asked like, about goals. I think goals and purpose are different things. I think goals are like, oh, I want to be a firefighter. I want to play in the NBA. I want to buy a home. But I don't, your purpose isn't to buy a home. What is the real underlying reasoning and rationale behind that? What, to spread love, to have a warm space to host, or to make yourself feel like whatever it is. I think we need to really get rooted in that. And I think I need to, because as I'm chasing this kind of dream and goal, right, to build this brand or to build my brand, which I'm not a brand, I'm a human, but to just being open to the possibilities of what's next in my life, you can lose sight of the goal. It's like when you take a bad, the purpose. It's like when you take a bad deal, or you align with some shit that's not in alignment with who you are. It's like when we went on Horrible, we were like, yo, this is our brand though, so it's got to be in alignment. We know this is a great look for us. Like, we're super clear. Like, we're not at all disillusioned that like your platform is way bigger than ours. We stand to benefit from this, but it's got to make sense. And I was really proud of us that we did that, So I don't know. I don't know. There you have it. I don't know how to let
If you don't know, does that mean you don't have a purpose?
No, of course not. I know I have a purpose.
Name it.
I think I know what it is. I've always
to be vulnerable, is to be in practice. And
no, I think to be vulnerable is a way for me to be in practice of one, being
to let God
as authentic as I can, but also to be in service to others.
I get it.
Go ahead and learn from my dumbass. True. Listen to what I'm saying to y'all. Don't date him. Say. No, I'm serious though. I think
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think the less concerned you are and the less cognizant you are of if God is using you is when I
make a mistake. I think that's when I really got to be like, oh, God's using me.
No. What?
I'm serious.
I didn't understand what you just said.
When I make a mistake and I'm vulnerable, and other people will be able to learn from it, and I'll learn from it.
Or you're just coming from this real place of authenticity and vulnerability and openness and kindness, which I think are your superpowers. And you're not thinking, I'm being open and kind you're just being yourself.
You're just being.
You're just showing up. And
but sometimes that's the goal. But sometimes you do have to remind yourself and be like, let me set my intention today.
Of course. It's always
because you can easily forget.
Oh, child, it's always a remembering. We are in that's what I'm talking about. So when I'm in a space where I don't feel like I can remember, that is awful for me.
Okay.
Awful.
Well, interesting. I think I'd like to hear from folks. I'd love to hear how folks let God use them, what they feel their abilities are. If God is the ability, what is God? Maybe God isn't the ability in man and woman and human. What are your gifts? How are you sharing them? Are you sharing them? Do you even feel like you should? Are some things just for you? I don't know.
I don't know if it works like that. Anyway, I don't fucking know.
Don't further confuse me. I think it does. I am somebody who believes that if you have gifts, share them. I do believe that.
Of course, but I don't know if you do have a choice. Like,
what do you mean?
I just don't. I feel like your gifts are part of your way of being. Do you have a
No,
choice
I
but
think
to not?
there's so many people I feel who are not sharing their gifts, who maybe have even forgotten about them, put them aside to just get through life.
Joe, I don't
I
know.
really believe that.
I don't
I
know.
know that
But then, so what does
yeah.
that mean? What does that say of God? Like you're saying God to use you, and then God's not
Let
using
God
you.
use you.
So then,
You have to let God use
but
you.
if you don't let God use you, then what does that say about your life and what does that say about that person versus somebody who does?
Maybe you don't have a lot of faith. Maybe you're not experiencing God in the richest, fullest way. Because I don't think God is this thing where God doesn't forgive you if you I think God is shepherding you and being like, yo, come on. Everybody has this unique fingerprint. I gave it to you for a reason. Share it. I think God is also really encouraging in that way. I think God is in this conversation being like, you bitches don't know what you're talking about, but at least somebody listening, you might spark something in them to be like, yo.
They're just cringing on the other end, y'all. Like,
Or they're like, yo, there's something for me to think about. These are questions to ask myself. How am I letting I think that's the question. How are we letting God use us? That's really the question. That might be different for a bunch of people. Maybe I like to use the word purpose. You like to use the word, authenticity.
nothingness.
No. I don't know. I don't know how this episode went, so we're going to...
God was not here. God was not present.
God was
Where
here.
were you? We needed you.
Then forsaken me. No, I'm going to revisit this. I really want to hear what people have to say.
Every day.
You playing with me. You're the wrong person.
You needed a person that
that believes
Open.
in God, isn't a heathen.
That's not true.
Doesn't have an existential crisis every other day. Believes in purpose.
Then you gotta talk to somebody else that's a little bit more sure of the
No,
things.
that's bullshit, Shanti, because you...
I do not have the answers. I am not invested in
You
being
would not have the you wouldn't have Sable if you didn't think that you had a purpose. And Sable wouldn't be rooted in what it's rooted in. You wouldn't have that. You just gave us your elevator pitch, and it's very intentional. You're a very intentional human.
Of course.
And
I don't know if it's
everything...
my purpose. I don't know if Sable is my purpose.
No, I don't think Sable is your purpose. You didn't hear anything I said. What I'm saying is you are also in service to others. You are also someone who's like, oh my God, I want to, you've always wanted, since I've known you, you've always wanted to highlight and showcase the richness of certain communities and art and culture and people and celebrate that.
Self-esteem right now, so maybe I'm not the best person to talk.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you are rooted in your own purpose, and maybe you haven't identified it yet. But I think that there's so many fucking God-like abilities in you.
Amen, girl. From God, out of your mouth into God's ears, into mine, child.
I hope God slaps the taste out of you today, in all honesty, because you irritated me. Y'all, Shanti ruined my episode. I'm going.
I didn't. Authentic. I gave authentic.
No,
answers.
you were. I appreciate. I played.
Ruining the episode.
That was the devil speaking. I apologize. That was not loving kindness. That was not me trying to make anybody's day better. I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
All right. No, dead ass. Let's think about it. Let's revisit this in like 2 months. Not for a full thing at all. But let's just be like, yo, how have we let God use us the last 2 months? All right.
Amen. I think we need a prayer song. Do you know any? You went to your white church. Your church you went to.
I went to Catholic church.
Fully invested in white hymnals.
White. Very white.
So you don't know no
boring.
fucking
I
box.
don't remember any of them. Just remember it was monotone,
My
no
parents,
harmony.
Yeah. We're on some whole other shit.
It was like, Christ has died, Christ has risen, Christ will come again.
Wow.
Terrible. That's how they sang to
Embarrassing.
me.
Don't
Thinking
ever
that I wanted to go there.
ban white hymnals in all churches.
Christ has risen. Apparently Christ didn't rise. If you listen to the last episode, you will know
They
they was
tripping
just on
balls,
shrooms.
licking toes and seeing shit.
All right, we're out. This is done. I love you very much.
You too. Take care, everyone.
Bye. Ciao.
Ooh, good timing.
I just don't know. We did our best. I gotta do a clip of the of a Johnski. I was thinking about the roots, and I'm thinking we need to do some unpopular opinions. We need to do some unpopular Philly opinions too, but also not everybody is gonna be from Philly. So we gotta throw some Philly shit in there. Unpopular opinion: WoW was the best club in Philly.
No.
Unpopular opinion. Never had more fun than when I was at WoW giving out all these.
Wow.
It was. WoW then Fluid.
We aging ourselves, child.
I don't care. We old. Think about some more unpopular. We have a ton of them. And I love Three Musketeers bars. I'm a
disgusting, Antoinette. They're literally nasty.
Did you see? Did I post Tina's thing? She was pissed.
Yeah, because it's really upsetting.
She wrote me and was
as
like,
a kid, I hated them. I was so mad because they kind of looked like a Snickers bar. So I was like, bet I got more Snickers.
No,
and Tina, I would eat it and try to like
Tina
it.
would eat Three Musketeers. And Three Musketeers didn't look like Snickers. Three Musketeers is in a gray wrapper. I know.
They did. They looked like it a little bit. I needed glasses.
I fucked some Three Musketeers up. That nougat.
No, that's the worst part.
I liked it. We would have been the best trick-or-treaters together then, because I would have given you my Reese's.
It would have been a fucking bit. It would have been banging. And also, I do like those strawberry candies. I will eat one.
Those strawberry candies were banging. I don't know what that bitch was talking about.
The design was genius.
Looked like a strawberry. Loud as shit. And my grandma always had them. Them and Werther's were my jam.
What's a Werther?
The little
caramel
gold.
Jones?
It was like butterscotch.
What? Yeah, I love a butterscotch. Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, the Werthers? Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Oh, I love them. I should get some now.
You should. Get them on Amazon.
Not a fan of the peppermint, marshmallow peppermint Jones, though.
Disgusting. Almond Joys? Gross.
No, I love Almond Joys. I'm talking about the peppermint marshmallow.
The peppermint patty?
No, it's no chocolate. It's like it's like a peppermint. It has the stripe through it, but it's like, think of like a peanut, like not a peanut, the shape of a peanut. God damn it.
Oh, it is.
Anyway.
Unpopular opinion, Easter candy is subpar. It's disgusting. Easter candy is not it.
Not a fan of the eggs with the little caramel. Disgusting.
Go to hell.
Who can eat the whole fucking egg? If you did, something's wrong with you.
And then my mom used to get us these big ass bunnies. They was like this big, full of milk chocolate. I said, this
the worst,
is gross.
with the Rice Krispies in it. Get the fuck out of here.
No, the Rice Krispie Jones was banging. This was just milk chocolate.
Mm-mm. It got redundant after a while. The little cheapies. My mom never got me those. I always covered them.
the little duck looking things.
Yeah, I always covered them, and I like to squeeze them in the dollar store, and I will to this day.
All right, I have to urinate. New listener now. It was so good.
Who?
They're gonna be so disappointed. All these people coming over from Horrible Decisions. they gonna come to this podcast, this next one, and be like, "Are you fucking serious? Are these bitches talking about letting God use them?" That's a shame. Let me post that clip so that we can try to keep them.
Post what clip?
Like the clip. I gotta make a clip from last week when you was talking about sucking dick.
What did I say? I don't even remember these things.
You didn't say anything about sucking dick. You were just saying that men.
Oh God.
Are the elite dick suckers.
And your man ain't gay if he get his dick sucked. Why another guy? He ain't gay.
You gotta say that at the Roots picnic. I'm gonna fucking scream. I'm gonna be like, in case you missed this one, Shanti got a hot take.
He's not gay. I can get
it. If your man is getting his dick sucked by a man, it's okay.
He's not, I didn't say it's okay. I said he's just not gay. He may not like men, entirely. He may not be gay. He just Get his dick sucked. That's what the hood niggas would do. They just get their dick sucked by a crackhead. Cause I'm sorry, I took it too far. But
you didn't. Write it down.
They would say that,
set, baby.
They would say that.
Like,
those niggas would get their dick
you
sucked.
need to be like, how many of y'all didn't raise your hand? How many of y'all got your dick sucked by a crackhead? Don't lie. This is Philly. We fucking know. You know they are. Philly's tricky. Tricky. Matter of fact, that's some real shit you just said.
Amanda should come on and sing. Let's have some performances. Bring Amanda on.
I feel like, boo, fuck out of here. No, I'm telling you, I'm a let this girl get emotional at this birthday. For 5 seconds, I'm like,
She got things to do. She gonna have to put on her outfit.
Fuck out of here. She could do it.
That's the short set version.
She could do it. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna ask Juja first. I'm like, Juja, do you think? And if not, then she gotta ask Mona. I'm scared to ask Mona. I'm scared to be anywhere with Mona.
What?
I'm like, Mona, eat us up.
I know.
She
So
like,
what are you doing, Mona?
You say one wrong thing to her. You thought she was joking. She ain't think it was funny. You just get slapped. Like fucking Chris Rock. How you gonna tell me not to put? Didn't? Alright, I gotta go. I have work to do, believe it or not. Who's editing? We never wrote that girl back. I just realized. This week is a busy week.
I was gonna say, when can we talk about her? I guess we just have to agree on the monthly budget. Sounds like it'll just be one time.
I think we need to go back to her and just be like, all right, this is not a conversation for this. Bye, y'all. I think we